Hello again. Welcome to another episode of Tea and Talk Time. I hope you're having a good day. I appreciate you stopping by and sitting down for a few minutes and thinking of something other than your own troubles and what's going on, and you're going to find out what kind of troubles I've been up to. Have a sip. I was thinking about some of the stuff that I've talked about before, and I wanted to give you a little more insight into the paranormal part. Now that's I've gotten interest from both Robert and Jenny on paranormal. I have to go into more detail with her on some of the stuff that she's looking into, and she's very much fairy garden oriented, and they're just absolutely beautiful things that they come up with. And Robert, is interested in the ghost hunting aspect, that part of the paranormal. But I wanted to, expound upon my interest in the paranormal. I've stated before that it includes, Sasquatch and the pyramid. The pyramids, the Sphinx, what's supposedly hidden in the Sphinx's paw. The Bermuda Triangle, Atlantis, all of these things that, really puzzle us, and they defy what the scientific world says. So when I was coming up with this, probably about not that long ago, it's been a few years anyway. I wanted to really get into this. It's when I first started watching TAPS, the TAPS crew with the Atlantic Paranormal Society on Sci-Fi, and it was like, yeah, this is something I would love to be able to participate in this. So as I'm getting things, set up and worked on and figuring things out, I said, okay, I got to have a name. Got to have a cute, catchy name, just like they have, some kind of an acronym. I think that's what it's called when it's initials of something and it spells a word. So, I'm plotting and I'm planning and I'm working this out. I'm trying to, trying to make it work. Well, that should be clue number one. If you have to make it work, then you're doing something wrong. So what I did was, I kept trying to make it work, and this is mulling around in my mind, and I was doing something else, and then a name popped up into my head. Sojourn. That's going on a visit, visiting different places for short periods of time, is what the dictionary description came up with. And I went, well, that's a good word. That's what I want. Okay, forget about all these cute little things. I will be Sojourn Paranormal Investigations. So I accepted that. I went, okay, God sent me, what it should be called, and it was a perfect thing. And, that word had not been in my head, So I went, okay, I accepted it. No cute little initials spelling a neat word, except it ends up being spy. So, Sojourn Paranormal Investigations, spy for short. So I got it anyway. I just think it's cute how God does things sometimes, how spirit does things, how, however you want to define it, but to me, it's spirit. So I got the name of my group and neat initials that say something cute, and went on. My very first thing that I went on was going to the Mansfield Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. And you can go to their website and you can, sign up to go on some of these tours on Friday and Saturday nights, I believe. And it's pretty interesting. Just Shawshank Redemption was filmed there, and just the facts of the building and how it evolved is reason alone to go there. Let alone see if you can, get a ghost or have an apparition or have an experience or something. So, you know, that alone would be reason enough to go to some of these places, is just to see and experience the history of a place. I'm shaking a little bit because my cat is on the desk, which is what this is on, and she just made it go. Anywho, the point of this is that paranormal is more than just for ghosts. You know, it's for a myriad of examples. And what got me into this is I've always been fascinated with the paranormal. With okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, explain this to me. And you know, people can't explain it. So I continued exploration on my own. And one of the reasons why you know, it's always been there, it's just I haven't really paid a lot of close attention to it until I started getting into the Sci-Fi Network and all the neat stuff they were coming up with. But when I was probably in the 5th or 6th grade, I had an experience that just befuddled me. And to this day, I do not know how it happened. I cannot explain it. And in my, 11, 12-year-old mind, I was even trying to debunk it. And what happened was, I was getting ready to go to bed one night. I don't remember if I got up to go do something and came back, and that's when I noticed it. But at some point at bedtime, it's dark outside, I noticed that on the wall where my head was the perfect shape of a childlike angel on the wall in light, as if you had made a cutout over a flashlight and shown it on the wall. It was bright, it was vivid. Had never noticed it before, didn't notice it again after. And I'm going, what? What is this? Why is that there? And we had 2 narrow windows in the room. And there was a street light out there, and it shone in through the windows. So I'm going, okay. We had these little angel statues that we were collecting. And I went, okay, all right. No need to panic here, even though my heart's going ding. So I went over to the angels and I went, okay, are they somehow shining onto the wall? And so I put my hand all around them and keeping my eye on that image. It was a solid image of an angel. Put my hand all around the angels, trying to make that image, trying to disturb it, trying to make it move. And nothing disturbed it. Okay. So then I went around the window, light source, okay? Something has to be reflecting off of something. This is going through my mind as a 12-year-old. Something has to be reflecting off of something in order to make it go there. So I took my hand and I went all around the 2 narrow windows that were in the room. Nothing made that thing move. Nothing interfered with it being on the wall. And I tried everything my little mind could come up with. Nothing changed it. No shining off of a mirror, no, nothing. So I accepted the inevitable, just like I did with Sojourn. It's like, okay, I'll accept it. So I went, okay, I accept this. So I climbed into bed, pulled the covers up over my head, and I prayed. Now I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. And it took me a little bit to get to sleep, but I'm laying there and I'm just going, okay, I guess that's how it's going to be. I fully did not expect to wake up the next morning. I was totally surprised because I thought, this is it. The angel of death has come to get me. Nope, I woke up. Here I am today. So it was just very mind-boggling how this happened, why this happened, and I could not debunk it at all. And thinking back on it, I still cannot debunk it at all. So that's a case in point of things that make you go, in your life. And that's just one instance of knowing there's something else, knowing there's, you know, something more going on. So another episode happened to me. I got a doggy. I think he's going to jump in my lap. Oh, I was right. He jumped in my lap. This is Tramp, in case you haven't met him before. He was a rescue puppy from the local dog shelter. Oh, I got a kiss too. So anyway, the other thing that makes me believe in all this is there's a lot of things, but another instance that I can share is how I went through a period probably about I am so terrible with times and stuff. So anyway, my kids were still at home. My then husband was still in the Marine Corps. We were out at 29 Palms. This was about the year 1985. So you do the figuring how long ago it was. And I had recently taken up painting. And I was messing around with acrylic paint because it's something I had always wanted to do. And I was watching one of the religious shows on TBS, I think is what it was, Trinity Broadcasting. And, you know, they kept going over the same things over and over and over again. And I'm going, well, am I not getting it? Am I not doing it right? Am I really saved? You know, they make you doubt when they keep pummeling, and later on found out that, you know, there was a lot more going on behind the scenes and they weren't as upfront as they should have been. But I said, okay, I'm going to find out for myself. So I started reading the Bible. And I started at the Gospels because it's written in a way that I understand more than all the begets and begots and the heretos and the therefores and you know, the language from the Bible, from the King James Version in the Old Testament, it gets me confused sometimes. But I trust it more than I do the New Age things. There's too many people messing around with stuff. But anyway, so I started with the Gospels because I understood it better. And I figured, okay, it'll get me into the rhythm of the speech. It's just like Shakespeare, you know, at first it's like, what? But once you start reading it and speaking it, then you get into the rhythm of it. So I started with the Gospels, and I went all the way through the Gospels and down to into Revelations. So from the Gospels to the end of the Bible. And then I started in Genesis from the very beginning and read it all the way to the end again. So from the Gospels to the end I read twice, but from the Old Testament all the way through I read it the Old Testament once. But by the time I got through it the first time and came back, then I was into the rhythm of the language more so I could pick up more of what was being said. And the whole time I'm reading this, there's all these little light bulbs going off. And I'm going, oh, that's what they mean. Oh, now I understand. Oh, there really is reincarnation. Oh, this and oh, that. And it was just mind-boggling. I did nothing but read the Bible for 3 days. I would get up in the morning, pick up the Bible, start reading. I would read as I'm preparing the kids' breakfast before they go off to school. I would continue reading until everybody came home afterwards, and I would be making their dinner. And I'd still be reading. And I read up until I closed my eyes at night to go to sleep. And I did this solidly for 3 days because it was like, I didn't want to break the rhythm. It was like, okay, what's next? Okay, and I was being fed. If you ever wonder what that phrase means, it's like when you're captured by a story and you can't put it down. You're being fed, okay? I was being fed the Word of God, and I couldn't put it down. Could not put it down for 3 days. So when I got done and I closed the book for the last time, I laid in bed and I'm assimilating, and I'm talking to God and to Jesus, and all of a sudden I'm saying in my mind, Jesus, reveal yourself to me, because I started doubting again. After reading all this, I'm still doubting. I must have been a doubting Thomas in a former life. So, but I say this thing and immediately I inhale it, try to retract that thought, because that sounded sacrilegious to me. Jesus, reveal yourself to me. Like he's going to tell me, who am I to ask this? As soon as I said that, if any of you remember the old-fashioned TVs, when you would first turn them on, there would be all that white snow, that, static on the screen. It was just like that. There was a screen in my mind's eye. And it was instead of the white, multiples of white, it was multiples of blue. And out of this blue, this face appeared. And it shimmered, and I went, and I'm going, wow, and I saw the face of Jesus. And all these hues of blue was the face of Jesus. The crown of thorns, the blood on the face. It was all right there. And, I'm going, in my, with my eyes closed in bed, trying not to breathe. And the face started moving. And I'm going, oh, it was like, oh no. I thought the devil was going to start distorting it, twisting it. I would have gotten more information if I hadn't been so fearful. But I was. So when it started to twist and shake, I opened my eyes and I'm looking around and I'm trying to get the image out of my head. But I couldn't. And then I started hearing this phrase, paint it. Paint it. What? Paint it. I could not stay in bed and not listen to those two words. Paint it. Basically, paint what you saw. And so I went, okay, I'm going to paint the face of Jesus. So I get up out of bed and I head downstairs where my painting stuff was, and my easel and everything, and I start painting what I thought was the face of Jesus. And the whole time I'm painting, I'm hearing this bell ring. I'd only heard it like maybe twice, but it's ringing the whole time I'm painting. And when I stopped painting, it stopped ringing. I got to the point with the painting where I went, well, I think that's it. That's as good as it gets for me. I'm just, a novice painter, and that's as good as I can get it. So I set it up and I went to bed, still bemused and befuddled. and not quite sure what just happened. So I go to bed, and the next morning when I wake up, you know, I go downstairs and I look at it, and I'm still marveling at the whole experience. I call up my friend Sonia, and I tell her about it, and she says, well, I got to come over and see this. So she came over after, you know, the kids got off to school and everything. And she looked at it and she goes, you know, Susie, that's not the face of Jesus. And I'm going, oh, great. You know, she's doubting what I saw. And she says, look at it. There's no beard. But primarily, that's a feminine face. That's not a male face. You painted yourself covered in the blood. So anytime the devil tries to tell you you're not saved, you've got the picture to prove it to yourself that you are. So stop doubting what you know to be true. And I went, oh, that made more sense than me painting the face of Jesus. I thought that's what I was doing the whole time I was painting, but I wasn't. That is a feminine face. And there are times when I was younger and thinner, that was my profile. And I didn't even know it. Did not even know it. So if you ask me, do I believe in the paranormal? Do I believe in the spiritual? Do I believe in just about anything that happened? Yes, I do. That's my foundation. I mean, it goes from believing in angels to experiences like this to, you know, if they're, I want to know what the facts are about ghosts and stuff. You know, if they're trapped spirits, I want to help them move on. That's my main slant, other than experiencing it and trying to understand it and figure it out. Bermuda Triangle, man, and Atlantis, those, you know, if I could scuba dive and go off the coast of Florida and start exploring, I would love it. Because I really think that's where we're going to find factual information about Atlantis. It really did exist. It's just like for centuries they thought Helen of Troy, oh, that's just a fable. There's no foundation in truth on that. Well, they found Troy, and they found a lot of evidence that supports this so-called fable. Noah's Ark, same thing. There's a lot of things that, because science can't prove it, they therefore say it does not exist. That's why you have to have faith in something without having faith in something without actually seeing it and feeling it and touching it is put on a higher scale than, okay, I'll believe it now that I know it's there. You know. So it's all a fascinating topic to me. And if you've got any experiences that you'd like to share, you know, I'll share them while I'm doing this. And if you have any suggestions for something you want me to do a little bit of research on, I'm not much of a researcher, but I can, you know, little bits of this and that and the other, I can put it out there. So if you're interested in this stuff, you know, let me know, and I'll put together, you know, a few more episodes. Still waiting for what Robert calls, because that's how I described her, the lady that takes me nice places. Still trying to get together with her to do some more talking about some of the ghost investigations that we've gone on. Still trying to work on that. Still trying to get the funding going on GoFundMe to get mobility for Tea and Talk Time, so I can go see the lady, Jenny, who is putting together a fairy garden, and may have a picture of something that kind of proves something, but we'll see. So, you know, there's a lot of fascinating, marvelous, mind-bending things that's out there. And, you know, when I can, I'll try to share stuff with you so that maybe you can go, as well. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you have a good day. Take good care of yourself. You know, you're just as important as anybody else, okay? And you can't help others if you're not taking care of yourself. So take good care of yourself. So until the next time that I see you, you take care, and may God bless.